And on the second day, the Lord came unto us and said, have some more films. Have a whole butt ton of them. It's the London Film Festival, everyone's favourite time of the year, where Stu talks about way too many films. And there's nothing you can do to stop me, no matter how much you keep nagging me, mum. Next up from this year's virtual-ish festival is Kajillionaire, which is a film I didn't know much about. I just thought it sounded fun, and then I looked it up and I was like, I do like most of the people involved with this one. It's directed by Miranda July, it stars Evan Rachel Wood, Gina Rodriguez, Richard Jenkins. It's basically the story of this couple who are con men and women with a daughter, and they go about their life just moving on from the next con to the next. Not quite as sophisticated as I'm making it sound. It's not like Ocean's 11 style stuff. Very much struggling to make ends meet, and so they're just selling things on to people, stealing things and selling those things on to people to get money. And into their life drops Gina Rodriguez for one of their kind of plays. But I kind of had a really great time with Kajillionaire. I had a lot of fun here. And if it sound like there's a bit of trepidation in my voice, it's because it's a very weird film. And so for a lot of the runtime, I wasn't not liking it, but I wasn't sure exactly what it was I was watching until things start to click. But I was having a good time consistently, and it finished and I was like, that was a really fun and really interesting hour and a half of my life. It sort of reminds me in certain moments, although not really overall, but there were certain moments which really reminded me of this kind of Napoleon Dynamite-y, Jared Hesse style, offbeat, quirky comedy. Sometimes it's just as simple as a cut. It will cut to a scene and I'll laugh because that was a funny time to cut a scene. And I was mainly impressed by the way that it just feels like its own thing. Even though I could feel like there are certain moments where I'm like, that reminds me a little bit of this other film or this other film. It doesn't ever feel limited by that. It doesn't feel like it gets stuck down in things like that. It just does its own thing. And I really enjoyed that. The story I found to be this really surreal, engaging, but constantly evolving thing, which I'm sort of in two minds on. Overall, I enjoyed that. I found that to be endlessly more entertaining to watch. But I feel like that does make the experience of watching this on its first time feel somewhat unrewarding in the sense that it's one of those films where the goalposts are just constantly changing in a way which you're never quite sure exactly what the point of what you're watching is. And to a certain point, I wasn't sure if that was really clicking for me. And there are certain moments which I definitely do think, even after having finished the film, I do feel like they don't land as well as I think they're intended to, because I was thinking like, well, wait, this is happening? What is the point in this? But then overall, I enjoy that. I think that's definitely one of the things which does make it feel so unique and so refreshing. And I think it's going to work much better on a second watch once you know what the kind of overall point is. And I don't mean that to say like it's a particularly complex or complicated film. It's not really hard to understand, but it is a film which sort of pivots and shifts a lot in its focus, which can sometimes come off as a little bit aimless. But overall, I did enjoy that side of things more than I disliked it. And it's filled with these really brilliant moments, which are often quite small things. For instance, they live in this really terrible, rundown... It's an office space, really, but they're letting it and they're living there, which is on the back of this foam factory, which means that just bubbles and foam come down the back wall, and so every day they have to go around it with buckets. It's weird shit like that I enjoy. But everyone in the film is having fun as well. Evan Rachel Wood, I guess, is the lead in the film. And I really like Evan Rachel Wood. You'll know her probably mostly from Westworld, which, side note, brilliant TV series. Did dip towards the later series. That's a different topic. But everyone else is good in the film as well, particularly Richard Jenkins. I love Richard Jenkins. He always pops up in films and just seems to have the best time. And he is sufficiently manic and over the top in a endlessly watchable way here. His character was a bit odd. I don't know what to think about certain characters in this film, which is something I do think can sometimes get in the way of the film. I think your enjoyment on the film is definitely going to come from just how much weird shit you can really put up with, because it is a weird film. It's imaginative, it's creative, and it's playful with the way it goes through its narrative. And I guess it's quite unconventional in that sense, which can make certain scenes feel a little bit, what am I supposed to be doing with this? It's a very weird, fun film that has got something to say. Totally unique to a lot of other films I've seen this year, which is absolutely a positive in my eyes. So yeah, I had a really good time with Kajillionaire, and I like the name, Kajillionaire. It's just fun to say that word, Kajillionaire. I'm gonna stop. This video could be 10 minutes long, me doing that. But what about you guys? Have you seen Kajillionaire? I think it is just getting a general release in the UK on Friday today. Hopefully, if this goes up in on time. I think it's just out in cinemas. So If you've seen it, let me know what you thought about it. And of course, if you enjoyed this review and you want to see me talk about more shit from the film festival this year, subscribe because there's a whole butt ton of reviews to come. I'll see you guys soon for some more reviews. Until then, Kajillionaire. 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 What a fun word, huh?